Students, Sairam, this is Megha Miss here, and today we will continue with our lesson number 12, study of sound. Okay students, this is our session 2. Now in the previous session, if you remember, we studied about the longitudinal waves, transverse waves, yes, wavelength, lambda, symbol. I hope you have studied, you have went through that presentation. Okay, so now we will proceed with the next part. Okay students, now the next part is the velocity of sound in a gaseous medium. Now the velocity of the sound in the gaseous medium depends on the physical conditions. So we have seen how the sound travels through solids and the liquids. Now we are going to see what is their velocity in gaseous state. So if you see, the velocity of the sound in the gaseous medium depends on the physical conditions. Okay, which physical conditions, students? It will depend upon the temperature, density of the gas and its molecular weight. Okay, remember students, it will depend upon the physical conditions, that is the temperature, density and the molecular weight. Okay, now first we will see the temperature. The velocity of the sound is directly proportional to the square root of the temperature of the medium. Okay, so you can see here down I have written the equation also. V is directly proportional to root T. Okay, so the velocity of the sound will be directly proportional to the square root of the temperature of that medium. This means that increasing the temperature 4 times doubles the velocity. So if you are increasing the temperature 4 times, velocity will become double. Okay students, I hope you understood this point. We'll move to the next point, density. Okay, that is rho. Okay, the velocity of sound is inversely proportional to the square root of density. Again I'll repeat, the velocity of sound is inversely proportional to the square root of density. Thus, increasing the density 4 times reduces the velocity to half its value. Okay, that means if you are increasing the velocity 4 times, then the velocity will be decreasing to its half value. Okay, you can see the equation. V is directly or inversely it will be, students? Yes, it is inversely because 1 upon square root of rho. Okay, I hope it is clear. Okay, rho means density. Now next you have the molecular weight, that is m. The velocity, yes, of the sound is inversely proportional to the square root of the molecular weight of the gas. Okay, so now we have considered density also, we have considered temperature also. Now we will see upon the molecular weight. So the velocity of the sound, it is inversely, again here it is inversely proportional to the square root of the molecular weight of the gas. Okay, which gas we are using, what is its molecular weight. Okay, thus increasing the molecular weight 4 times. If I increase the molecular weight 4 times, student, it will reduce the velocity to half its value. As you have seen up for the density, same for the molecular weight. If we are increasing it 4 times, it will reduce the velocity to half its value. You can see V is inversely proportional to 1 upon root m. M should be capital letter. That is the molecular weight of the gas. Okay students, I hope you understood this part. Okay, these are the conditions when we are calculating the velocity of the sound in a gaseous medium. Okay, now we will proceed. Audible, infra and ultrasound. Now what are these type of sound? You have studied in your previous standard also. Okay, we'll just go through again. The limits of the hearing of a human ear are 20 Hertz to 20,000 Hertz. Yes, in this limit only you can hear the sound. That is, human ear can hear sounds of frequencies in this range. These sounds are called as audible sounds. So the sounds which are between this range, we will call them as audible sounds. Okay students, our ears cannot hear the sounds of frequency lower than 20 Hertz. Okay, and higher than 20,000 Hertz, that is 20 kilohertz. So if the range is out of it or below it, we cannot hear the sounds. Okay, sound with frequency smaller than 20 Hertz is called as infrasound. Okay students, you will remember the sound frequencies which are smaller than 20 Hertz, we will call them as infrasound. Okay, now the next part is the sound produced by a pendulum and the sound generated by the vibration of the earth's crust just before an earthquake are examples of such sounds. Which sounds? Infrasounds. Okay, so what are the examples, students? The sound produced by the pendulum, okay, and the sound generated by the vibration, which you cannot hear because they are infrasounds, right? Vibrations of the earth crust. Yes, there are the vibrations in the earth crust before an earthquake take place. Yes, you know the plates are there, that plates are moving, and hence the earthquake occurs, right? The plates in the earth's crust. So again I'll repeat, the sound produced by a pendulum and the sound generated by the vibration of the earth's crust just before an earthquake are the examples of such sound. Now the sound waves with the frequency greater than 20 kilohertz, okay, are called ultrasound. So the sound waves which are greater than the 20 kilohertz or 20,000 hertz, we will call them as the ultrasounds. Okay students, I hope infrasounds are clear to you, and now you understood the ultrasound also. Okay, so we'll just see the dog, mouse, bat, dolphin, etc. have a special ability to hear infrasounds. Okay, so these animals, they can hear the infrasounds. Thus they can sense some noise which are inaudible to us. Yes, the dog, mouse, bat, dolphin, etc. more are there which have a special ability to hear the infrasounds. Thus they can sense some noise which are inaudible to us. Okay, children under 5 years of age, okay, and some creatures and insects can hear waves with the frequency up to 25 kilohertz. Okay, so the children which are below 5 years of their age, or some of the insects, they are also capable of hearing the frequency sound waves up to 25 kilohertz. Okay students, bats, mice, dolphins, etc. can also produce ultrasound. Okay, so ultrasound can be produced by the bats, mice, dolphins, etc. Okay students, now see here, the example is given of the bat. It is from your textbook only. Okay, so the bat, it can produce the ultrasounds, and hence it can sense its prey. Okay, whatever it want to, it can sense its prey, or it can understand the obstacle when it is flying in the night sky. Okay student, this is the picture which is given in your text. I hope this part is clear to you. So the bats, they are capable of producing this ultrasounds. Okay, you can see how the ultrasounds are shown with the yellow color lines here. Okay, this yellow color lines are the frequency of the sound waves which are generated. Okay, I hope it is clear to you. Yes, now reflection of sound. Now next part we are going to see the reflection of sound. Now like light waves, sound waves too gets reflected from a solid or a liquid surface. You know reflection of light you have studied. So this is same as you have the reflection of light. Now we are going to have it as the reflection of sound. So like light waves, okay, how the light waves they reflect, same way sound waves too get reflected from a solid or a liquid surface. These waves also follow the laws of reflection. Yes, we have studied the laws of reflection, right? So similarly, sound waves also obey the law. Okay. A smooth or a rough surface is needed for the reflection of sound, as you have in the light. Yes. In the reflection of light also you need a medium. Yes. What you can say? You need a surface, you can say. Same way here also, a smooth or a rough surface is needed for the reflection of the sound. The direction of the incident sound wave and the reflected sound wave make equal angles with the perpendicular to the surface, and all these three lie in the same plane. Okay, so two laws of reflection we have seen here only. Yes, what are those students? The direction of the incident sound wave and the reflected sound wave make equal angles. Yes, with the perpendicular to the surface. That perpendicular is your normal, right? And all these three, that is the incident sound wave, reflected sound wave and this normal, they will lie in the same plane. Okay, I hope it is clear to you. You understood the reflection of sound. It will also, the sound waves will also obey the laws as the light waves obey. Okay students, I hope this part is clear to you. So I'll repeat it again. Like light waves, sound waves too get reflected from a solid or a liquid surface. These waves also follow the laws of reflection. A smooth or a rough surface is needed for the reflection of sound. The direction of the incident sound wave and the reflected sound wave make equal angles with the perpendicular to the surface, and all these three lie in the same plane. Okay students, I hope this part is clear to you. Okay, now we'll proceed. See here, this is the diagram where you can see, you don't have this experiment now to study, but just remember, you can see here two angles they are forming. You can see here, see this is the cardboard tubes are kept here, a clock is kept, so sound will enter like this, okay, and it will get reflected to the wall and come out from here. So you have this incident sound wave and this is the reflected sound wave, and you can see this dotted line is your normal, or you will call it as a perpendicular. Okay, so two angles you will be having, theta 1 and theta 2. Okay, tell me students, will the theta 1 will be equal to theta 2? Yes, theta 1 angle will be equal to the theta 2 angle. Okay, and it is said that these all lie in the same plane. What? This incident ray, this reflected ray, sound wave, right, of the sound wave, and this normal, they will all lie in the same plane, all the three. I hope it is clear to you. Okay, so if this clock voice you can hear through this cardboard tube, okay, because of the reflection through the wall. I hope it is clear to you students. You understand this experiment, it is not there for you now, but for understanding the reflection of the sound, you need to understand through this experiment. Okay students, I hope it is clear to you. Okay, we'll proceed. Now the next part, good and the bad reflectors, okay, of sound. Now what are these good and bad reflectors students? How much of the incident sound gets reflected, okay, decides whether a reflector is a good or a bad reflector. As now here we have used a wall, right, it is our reflector. So what will decide how much of the incident sound is getting reflected will decide whether a reflector is a good reflector or a bad reflector. Okay, a hard and a flat surface is a good reflector. Okay, remember students, a hard and a flat surface will be a good reflector, while clothes, paper, curtains, carpet, furniture, etc. absorb sound instead of reflecting it, and therefore they are called bad reflectors. Okay students, again I'll repeat, how much of the incident sound gets reflected decides whether a reflector is a good or a bad reflector. Okay, so how much of the incident sound is getting reflected, okay, that is important. A hard and a flat surface is a good reflector, while the clothes, paper, curtains, carpet, furniture, etc. absorb the sound instead of reflecting it. Okay, and therefore they are called as a bad reflectors. So remember students, good reflectors and bad reflectors. Okay, you have the two types of reflectors. Okay, so today we have come to the end of today's presentation students. So today we studied about, yes, we started with the velocity of the sound in the gaseous medium, solid and liquid medium we have seen in the last presentation. So today we saw in the gaseous medium. Yes, now when the sound is traveling through the gaseous medium, it depends upon the physical quantities, right? Whatever those physical quantities, temperature, density and what, molecular weight, right, of the gas, because different types of gas it can be, right? So these three are very important to decide the velocity of the sound. Okay, then we studied about audible, infra and ultrasounds. Yes, audible sounds means which we are able to hear. It will be between the frequency range 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Now the sounds which are of the frequency lower than 20 hertz will be infra, right? Ultrasounds means they will be higher than 20 kilohertz, right? You have studied this. And some of the animals, they are able to hear this infra sounds. Some of the animals, they are able to produce the ultrasounds. We saw the example bats, dolphins and all. So we have seen how the bats is also, generating those ultrasounds and trying to reach to its prey, or it can be able to find the way when it is flying in the dark. Okay. Then we saw about the reflection of sound. As the light is reflecting, yes, as the light obeys the laws of reflection of light, same way reflection of sound can also take place, and they also obey the laws of reflection. We have seen through a experiment. As I told you, don't have that experiment, but for the better understanding I have included it. Okay. Then good and bad reflectors of sound we studied. Yes, we need a reflector for the sound, and it can be a bad and a good, and it depends upon how much amount of incident ray gets reflected, right? Is it clear, students? So I hope whatever part we studied today you have understood. Go through the presentation properly, okay students, and try to link whatever in the first presentation you have studied with this. Okay, so we'll meet in the next presentation and we will continue with the next part of the chapter. Okay, so I hope you will study this also part. Make the note of the important whatever points you feel, yes, it is important, I should make a note, especially the audible, infra, what are the sounds, definitions. You can make a note of it in your science notebook. Okay, so I'll stop today for here. Take care. Sai Ram.